Welcome back to Ninja Panda U. This is JT, and today we're going to go over a very simple timer for any usage in your Scratch games or stories or whatever you're trying to do. And so just a quick disclaimer, there's many ways you can make a timer in here, but we're going to go with one where we have a 20-second type of countdown, and just to show you this one approach. And we'll make other videos on a bit more complicated timers and so forth. So we're gonna start with by getting rid of the cat. We don't need the cat for this one. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna create a brand new sprite. So I'm gonna use a paint, and now we're in our costume section. And what we're gonna do is, this part's a little bit more manually, like, oh, do I really have to do this? There are other ways we can do this. However, we're just gonna focus on this approach for today. We're just gonna do a costume, add a new costume, and count down. So what we're going to do is grab the text, and we're just going to pick a spot for right now, and I'm just going to pick the number, and then click here. You got your 20. There you go. And then what we're going to do is right click and duplicate, and you're going to then click inside here and change the number. So then you have 19, and we're going to It is a little tedious, but it's a cool way to get your timer done pretty quickly with minimal amount of code when it comes to just what type of game you're building, right? Now, if you need like extensive timers where, you know, you're talking about minutes and minutes and so forth, then, you know, you could build it this way, but at that point, you're kind of like graduating to just a different approach and so forth, right? So I'm just gonna try to be quick about this and change this where we got our 13, and you know, you guys are probably gonna go faster than me, who knows? So we got 12, and then duplicate, and then we got 11. And, you know, the nice thing about doing it this way is you guys get to kind of see how the system is built within Scratch for you to kind of play around with these things. In other game engines, this is something that is a lot easier to do in terms of like how many lines of code you could quickly put in, but doesn't mean that you can't do this kind of stuff within Scratch, right? So, and the cool thing is you could also draw the numbers yourselves. Right? So if you had to touch a pen on your laptop or something like that, or if you just wanted to use the paint brush and actually draw the number, you can. There are also numbers that are available. Here, I'll go right here, and I believe, is it under letters? I mean, obviously should not be under letters. Let's see. Numbers. There you go. Right? So you could add these numbers too and use those. So there's many ways you can kind of do this. Just know that we're just doing this because we're going to just have it go over higher than 10, right? And just one way for you guys to kind of see this. All right, so let's do this. Almost there, almost there. And so as I'm finishing up, you know, one of the things that you guys have to kind of think about is, okay, well, I get my timer and I did a countdown. Why did I start from 20 and go? It's just so then our code is a little bit easier for us to understand. And it kind of saves us a few steps if we start with the number we were counting down from. So, all right, we got that. We're going to go here, and we got... Then we're just going to show 0 as well. There you go. So now I got all my numbers. So I can go back to my code. And right now it's set to 0. So let's go back to our costume and pick 20. Right? And the nice thing is if you want this to be a lot larger, you can just go here and change the size. I want it to be 1,000. All right? Why? Just so that it's very visible for us at the moment. Right? Cool. Now we got our timer. And so what we're going to do is get the party started like we always do with our when flag is clicked. And what we're going to do is just go to the next costume, right? So we want to also wait a second, right? So we're going to wait a second as it starts with 20 and then go to the next costume. So in the look section, you could go to next costume, right? Now, the thing is, this is only gonna, if you hit it, go to 19 and it will stop, right? So what we need to do is get it to loop, right? But also notice when it stopped, it stayed on 19. So we need to reset our timer, right? So in order to reset our timer, we're going to click here, and we want it to be, whoops, nope, go to costume 1 and click there, right? So now we could click that, and I'm gonna move this over here, and now let's go into our loop, and we can have this loop at the same amount of time, which is 20. And let's throw that in there. And now what we should do is get ourselves a timer. And now it's just going, counting down, right? And since you duplicated it, everything's lined up, same font, same everything. And, you know, you do get this rotation. So you notice how it kind of pushed. So that's a good thing to look at and go, well, I don't really want that, right? So let's go back to costumes, and anywhere we don't have a 2-digit number, we want to add the 0, right? So I will add the 0 in front of the 9. And you see this a lot in games where they will keep the 0. You could make it where it's pushed in as well in the right placeholder section, but you have to add some alignment pieces to it, which we can, but we're trying to make this as simple as possible. So it's easier just to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to put the 0 in front of it. And it is something that we are all okay with seeing. And you'll probably see a lot of games that do that, right? All right, so you got 3, and then we got 0, 2, and then got that. And I'm going to put 00 as well, but normally you kind of have like a game over or whatever, so you'd have the next line of code happening anyways. So for example, let's go here and say, once all that's happened, your timer has stopped, right? So now I'm going to click here to reset, and there we go. And we got our countdown. It's going from 16, 15, and so forth. We're using a repeat loop for 20 steps, and we just wait 1 second and we go. Now, if you did your costumes the other way, we can make it where it changes the costume based off of like the name of the actual costume itself. So we can do that, but I'm going to do that in another video just to show you like the different ways you can approach this. But just know, if you're just needing to make a quick and easy timer, you can always do it this way where you count down and just use the next costume code. And then it's like your timer has stopped. And instead of saying your timer has stopped, you can then have it do whatever it needs to do in terms of saying game over or something like that. All right, so there you go. And that's how you make a simple timer. Thank you guys for watching, and catch you in the next video.